Hello everyone and welcome to another custom figure Redux, although this is going to be, again, a little bit of a change up for the Redux ones because I'm sort of going to be doing a bit of a live from the workshop, but not quite a live from the workshop, hence custom figure Redux is a sort of trimmed down version. Because today we are going to be making, or I say we, I am going to be making the War Doctor's first Sonic. And you heard me right, the first Sonic, because the one we see in Day of the Doctor is actually the second Sonic he had, because his first one has appeared, as far as I'm aware, it's its only appearance in Big Finish's He Who Fights Monsters trailer for the box set of the same name, or the box set of the same story, I should say. And in that, we briefly see a Sonic that is on the War Doctor's console, which appears to be the 8th Doctor's Sonic, but it also has some smaller differences on it because it has the general body of the War Doctor Sonic with the red cap on the end, but it has the rounder emitter of the 8th and 7th and 8th Doctor Sonic as seen in the TV movie. And obviously I decided to have a go at making it for my collection. And so this is where the Redux bit comes in, because this originally started out life as a broken 5th Doctor. Well, I say broken, I'll come back to that in a minute. It originally started out as a broken 5th Doctor Sonic that I got on eBay, that I decided to just sort of really trash and make it look like a Time War Sonic, because at the time I decided to do it, obviously we'd had Day of the Doctor, but we hadn't really seen sort of what Sonic that the 8th Doctor used sort of later in the Time War. We'd sort of seen the sort of interim period, we'd seen him use one and then we'd seen him use the other. So I thought, well, maybe there was a period when, the 8th Doctor Sonic sort of gets destroyed and that's why the War Doctor moves on to a new one. And so I got this and trashed it, and I just decided to just make cuts in and everything like that. I mean, you can see all of the yellow bits where I filled it in with Milliput and things like that, where I just cut chunks out of it and everything else. And I chucked it in the bottom of a box because I never quite finished it, and it's been sat there for, well, I would have done this in around 2014, so genuinely it's been sat in the bottom of a box for 10 years and I've never done anything with it. So I decided that it was about time that I made use of it, and I've decided to make this sort of updated War Doctor Sonic with it. So in terms of the first bit of what I've done, this is sort of where the Redux bit comes in, because obviously I've already started work on it, and so what I've done, I've already printed and painted up a little 3D printed end cap for it. I have filled in obviously the bits of the areas that I have cut out with Milliput. It does still have its sliding action, although it's a little bit stiff. And then on the emitter as well, I have just sort of redone it. I've redone the magnet on the end because I originally trimmed that off and it was a very rushed, sort of rough job I'd done on that. I've also added on these sort of little extra points at the top that it also has, and then I've actually had to 3D print a bit of the emitter that I've actually completely cut out there. So like I said, I've sort of repaired it a little bit. Obviously it's still going to have its sort of few little nicks and things like that, but I think that's going to sort of add to the look of it. But now what I'm going to do is to just give it an overall repaint, which, unlike a normal live from the workshop, I'm not going to show on camera, because literally all I've got to do is repaint it silver and then repaint the emitter bit red, and it's just sort of, there's not really a lot in there to sort of show in a video, so I thought I'll do that off camera. And so here we have the finished Sonic Screwdriver. I have to say, not to blow my own trumpet, but I'm really pleased with the restoration job I've done on this. There's a few rough edges in places here and there, like there's a little bit there where you can see where I've had to fill it in, but everything else has come together so well. I really am proud of the way this is all worked out. I've got the 3D printed cap on the end, obviously 3D printed new bits of the ring on top and the emitter. They've worked really well. It does still function in terms of its sound effects. I did try, but it is very intermittent, so it's also very stiff on that mechanism is not really working very well, so I'm probably going to keep it just as it is. But it really is a really nice Sonic design. Definitely one that I would love to see released in future, because I think there is, I may have said this at the start of the video, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm recording this bit long after I recorded the first bit. There really is potential here that, again, Big Finish could work with character to produce this variant as a Big Finish exclusive, you know, to sell through their website, kind of like they did with the figures. Obviously, it would be a very limited one, but it would certainly be one that's really nice to see. And you know, if that went well, you know, I know people have always wanted the Dark Eyes sonic screwdriver as well. That one I appreciate would be perhaps a little bit more difficult to produce because of needing to basically be whole new tooling, whereas this one really could be made from pretty much existing tooling. You know, you've got the bottom part here would be from the War Doctor Sonic, the upper part and mechanisms would be from pretty much like a, you know, the 8th Doctor's Sonic. The only thing you'd have to potentially add is some little bits on the end of the emitter here, but I don't think that would be hugely difficult to do. You know, but it would require some new tooling, but it would certainly be a lot easier to produce this than produce the Dark Eyes Sonic. But yeah, it's a really nice little project to do. Something that's, you know, it's a lot of fun. You know, if you've got a spare Sonic hanging around, or you've got one like this that is, you know, been sitting in the bottom of a box wasting away, it's definitely one that's a fun little one to do. And it's an interesting little niche one as well, because, you know, I don't think many people knew, certainly I didn't until I really looked into it, that the War Doctor had 2 different sonic screwdrivers. But that brings to a close another live from the workshop. As always, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot. And description below for a link to my Patreon. I am still doing my figure animation. There is still an update coming on it in future, and there will be an update coming in the new year in regards to my channel, but for the meantime, all of your donations are greatly received, and for the smallest donation you can get your name at the end of my videos. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.